Okay, it says we are live. If you guys don't mind confirming that you can see and hear me, that would be fantastic. Unless there's an ad playing and then you can't. We'll give it a few moments either way. Okay, looks like people can see and hear. Looks like we're good to go. You guys, how's it going? Happy Tuesday evening. What is new with each and every one of you guys? Thank you, as always, to the early risers. Really appreciate that. Some interesting conversations. It says turn on your webcam. I think my webcam's turned on. Some people say you can see nothing. That's strange because I can see me on the YouTube stream over here, which tells me everything is working okay. You might refresh it if for some reason you can't see it, or maybe there's an ad playing, but looks like everybody is doing well out there. So there was an interesting point that was made in the beginning here, and I need to go back to that. Captain Phil was talking to Music Lover about handguns, rifles, that sort of thing. Music was saying that she has 4 handguns right now, a couple of strikers, a couple of hammer fires, which I think is a great mix. So it got me a little bit curious. I kind of want to know what you guys typically do in your collection. Do you have something that's widespread? Do you focus on one type of firearm? Do you focus on handguns, rifles, shotguns? Do you focus on striker fired, hammer fired? What is your choice with that? You guys know I typically have been a handgun person most of the time. However, the safe is expanding a little bit, and it's getting some growing pains, unfortunately. Jim Gregory, great to see you. Hope you're having a great start to the week. Well, you know what? I hope you are too. I am. So far, so good. We're getting a little rain here, but that just means the yard is going to be growing a little faster, and I'm okay with that. Right now, everything is green. It won't take long for all that to die, I'm sure. But for now, we are enjoying some interesting weather, and it's a little cool right now, which is good. I'm a winter kid, so I like the cold, so I'm okay with that. But I hope you're doing well as well, my friend. But so I am curious about that. So hopefully we'll get some answers here in just a moment. B is saying, I can see, hear, and smell you. This is a very good webcam. I just want you to know. Hopefully it doesn't smell bad. Non-tactical shooter, KSGG, what do you use as your camera and mic setup for your range videos? That's a good question. Just for the range, and I've actually been using the same cameras that I used to start the channel. I use a couple, and I wish I had them in here. I don't. I keep them in the other room. They're little Yi. It's YI action cameras, and they're about half the price of a GoPro, and I think they are just as good, if not in some ways better. They've got a really good Sony sensor in them, and Sony makes fantastic camera sensors. And so one of those two, it's the Yi 4K, that started the channel for me. I did a lot of my early videos on that channel. So if you go back to those videos, and I'm sorry if you do, but if you decide to go back and look at some of those really old videos, you'll see that everything has kind of a fisheye lens to it. And I'm just talking right at the camera. There's no microphone or anything like that. And it actually did an okay job to start the channel. But now I've kind of grown things a little bit for my videos. My tabletops, I use a Canon T7i, which is kind of a mid-level camera. I mean, it does what I needed to do. It's not terribly fancy, and it wasn't very expensive. In fact, they're a lot less expensive now. And I use a 10 millimeter to 18 millimeter lens to be able to capture as much of the table as I can, because you'd be surprised that if the table's here, the camera's right about here. So it's really close. So that that wide angle lens has to be able to capture as much as possible, but then also focus in when I need it to. But I still use those same action cameras for the range. And I've just added another one onto the side, and it's a Yi Lite. So it was like $100, and it's still 4K. Does the job. I have another camera in my bag. It's a Canon M50, which is a mirrorless camera. And I've thought about doing shots with the zoom lens out to the target because a lot of people have complained that they want to see closer to the target, which I totally understand. I mean, I can't hang a camera off those swinging targets at centerfire shooting sports. It would make them imbalanced. It would swing the camera off, and it could damage the target. So I'm kind of limited there. The only problem is if I turn the Canon on and get the close up to the target, I no longer, I don't want to do 3 cameras. So I would not have a side angle shot to be able to capture like recoil and that sort of thing, because occasionally people like to see, okay, how do you react to a gun, even though you guys know, I mean, I've got kind of crazy hands, but still people like to see that. So I can't do it all. And so I'm still debating on switching things up a little bit, but that's what I use. And those cameras seem to work. Again, they weren't terribly expensive. So if you ever want to start a channel, grab something like that or use your cell phone. A lot of people use their cell phone, and cell phones are so advanced these days, you can hardly tell the difference. The only time you can tell the difference is if the phone is so far away that you're capturing a lot of ambient noise and echo in the room. So it's not a camera channel, it's a gun channel, but thanks for the question. That's a very interesting one for sure. So I know you guys answered some of the question that I asked in the very beginning. Dan Marr was saying handguns, 5 strikers and 1 hammer. Very, very cool. Steven is saying you love the Colt as well. Excellent. Jay Falk is saying preferred hammer over striker fired. Nothing wrong with that. Young Guns is saying I am to handguns like crack is to crackhead. That's good. I feel the same way. I feel the same way, no doubt about it. Ferrets with Guns is saying I'm all over the place. I've become a little bit more like that as well. There's an array of different things in the safe right now that are waiting to be tested. So it's, but that's part of the fun. I love it. I like experiencing a variety of different firearms. I really do. I think that's part of the fun of all this. Knuckles is saying I have about 15 to 20 hammer fired and only 2 striker fired. Very interesting. Very interesting. And Pops uses a cell phone. That's incredible. Your footage is amazing. So getting that from a cell phone, that's impressive, dude. It really is. Captain Phil, just over a year from my introduction to building ARs. And by the end of this week, I will have 5. Congratulations. That's nice. I'm still on my first halfway built AR. I didn't build the upper. I only built the lower. But it's addictive, man. We'll definitely use more. We will definitely use more. 1776, good to see you. Very good to see you. Stephen Worth using a Polaroid camera. That's good. So you just take a bunch of pictures and then make a flip book out of it. That'd be pretty cool. JM Powers, you a Marine KS, the Eagle Globe and Anchor is a $10 top chat icon. Interesting. I was not a Marine. I was not a Marine. I have infinite respect for Marines, but I was not. I was not. So some people are buffering. I'm not sure what the deal is there. Actually, it looks like everything is buffering just a little bit. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. I'll turn it down here. Hang on just a sec. Oh, that looks awful. I would say refresh if you guys can and tell me if things are still a little bit weird. Hopefully not, however. But I will tell you, I'm actually buffering a little bit as well. Mountaineers saying loud and clear. Appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Keith Gregory, do you like the Glock 43X, or if you have a 43 already, just keep what you've got, in your opinion? Well, and we have talked about this a little bit, Keith. I'd say if you have a 43 and you shoot the 43 well and it carries well for you and all of that, I don't see any reason to change unless you just want a slightly bigger grip and a few more rounds in it, because that's the difference there. I don't find any other difference. I like the 43X. I like a little bit extra meat. I never shot the 43 that well, to be honest with you. It was okay. I mean, I could put defensive rounds on target, but I could never make them nice, clean little dots or anything like that. And it's not the nature of that gun per se, but I've seen some people really do damage with those. So I prefer the 43X. In fact, the 43X is out right now. It's getting a bit of a makeover, and then it is coming back, which I know not everybody really digs very much, but I'm excited to see it. But yeah, if you've got a regular 43, I don't see a reason to change it necessarily, unless you just want one. And then I say go for it, Lee Fletcher, fine here, but experiencing weather as you are. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of flooding as well. It's coming down pretty fast. Snowman, you should do a SIG P210 versus a 9mm 1911. Well, funny you say that. A P210 hopefully is on the way very soon. I did decide to go ahead and do that. I've been curious about them for a long time, and now they have the American version that's a little bit less expensive, a little bit more palatable for the budget. I think it's closer to like 1,100, something like that. So you will see a P10 on the channel. I don't know when. But Centerfire has their radars out. They've put up the bat signal, and hopefully we'll see one before entirely too long. REB is saying coming in 5x5 in Tucson. Not many people say 5x5 anymore. I appreciate that you do. I like that. Gunny Jones, Glock 19 or an FM 509 midsize. Gunny, I haven't tried the midsize yet. I know my buddy Honest Outlaw, who we were going to try and get him on tonight. He was not able to make it. He is a big fan of the 509. He likes that one quite a bit. I like the 19, but I've got experience with that. Now I've got experience with the regular 509 and the tactical, and they're good guns. I like them, but I do like Glock 19s. I like that size, that feel. I'm one of 7 people on the planet that thinks they're pretty ergonomic. I really do. And so they just work for me a little bit better. Texas teacher, don't get the Glock 43X just because that color is terrible. Wait till Glock releases their 43X in black. It will blow people's minds. Again, I think I'm one of 7 people that likes that color. That color doesn't bother me, although my 43X will not be that color anymore when it returns. So it will be something very different. Michelangelo, how's it going, man? How do you feel about police trade-ins? Did I ask this question already? I think they're fine. I mean, if they're the right price and the gun is in good condition, I don't see any reason why not to go for it if that's something you're into. I've never heard somebody say bad things about that. Ferdinand, thoughts on the DB9 Gen 4? Well, it's funny. So Diamondback was nice enough to send me the DB9 Gen 4 as well as the AM2. They've already gone back to Diamondback, and as you can tell, I've not put out a video on either one. The DB9, it functioned fine. I will tell you, and I don't know that it's ever going to get a video. I'm not sure that that's going to happen or not, but I couldn't shoot it. I mean, I could almost hit the broadside of a barn with it, but it is so small, and my hands must be just big enough. I couldn't find a comfortable grip on that gun to save my life. I mean, I honestly would rather almost not carry a gun than carry that because it just didn't work for me. I've seen some other people make them run fine. So it's not, I don't think it's anything against the gun. It's against me. But it was just too small. It was just too small. And a 9mm out of something that small, like whatever, 13 ounces, 14 ounces, whatever it is, that is not a pleasurable experience in my opinion. Now the AM2 I thought felt a lot better, but I had some reliability issues with that. Again, video will be forthcoming on that if it makes sense to do so. But again, so far you haven't seen anything. So maybe that will tell you what you need to know. Foo, good to see you, man. Excuse me. Knuckles, P210 standard has regular grips as opposed to the target grips. That's true. I'm okay with that. I've handled the target grips and I thought they were fine, but they didn't overly impress me, I guess. It wasn't a thing. I'm fine with the regular grips. I still think the grips look really nice. I think they're maybe a walnut grip if I'm not mistaken. So they look good. I think they're very tasteful. But again, I don't necessarily care about the target grips. And if I'm saving whatever, $400 or $500, I'm okay with that too. That's okay, especially being a review gun. I don't know that it would be a forever gun. So it's hard to risk that much. The Walther Q5 match steel frame, that was a pretty bold risk to do that one. I really hesitated to go with the Pro, which is what I did. So I try not to do that whenever possible. Kuram 19, ergonomic G19. Are your hands built from blocks of wood? Yes, they are. They are. They're nice wood, but they're wood. I know it's strange, but here's the thing. Everybody's hands are a little bit different. Everybody reacts to guns a little different. In fact, I've got the 19X. I haven't had this thing out in so long, and I got this out. I have to say, I still love this gun. It's a fantastic gun. I mean, I would agree. It's not a looker by any stretch, but it has been a flawless gun. It's my suppressor host most of the time now. So it definitely has a role in the collection for me. And then sometimes it's the home defense gun if the other Glock 19 is not. But I shoot them reasonably well and they feel okay. But again, I'm used to them. You know, I've been shooting them for years and years. So they've just sort of become second nature to me. Keith Gregory saying I prefer the 26 over the 19. I totally understand that. And the 26, it's a great shooter. I mean, as you know, I've fallen back in love with that pretty hardcore. And I thoroughly enjoy shooting the 26. Well, let me catch up here for a moment. 1776 or bust saying, if you had to choose a SIG, would it be a hammer or a striker? There can be only one. I would choose a hammer. I would actually choose like a P229, preferably a Legion or an Elite. I think that's a tremendously good gun. I enjoy shooting them. I think they're tack drivers. I've really fallen kind of in love with the X series, whatever, the X Compact. It's a great gun, but that striker, I would opt actually for their metal guns. I just think they are fantastic shooters. Fu Master Chu, what about the Springfield TR-06 10 millimeter? I would be interested to try it. I'm not sure I'd do a video on it, to be honest with you. I just don't, I think there's some other things out there that people would be equally interested in, so I probably wouldn't do it. I know RE has an offer out there, and I've not forgotten RE if you're still here. But yeah, I probably wouldn't do that one personally. Jim Gregory, you guys are pushing me to get the X Compact. I'm telling you, Jim, it's a fantastic gun. I would, if you can sample both of them, the carry and the compact, depending on the size of your hands and what you feel is more comfortable, because there are some pretty big differences between the two when you start really kind of playing around with them in your hands. But that X Compact, man, that's a forever gun. It's staying, if that tells you anything. I've let 7 or 8 other P320s go, however many I've tested, and that one is staying. And I think the carry is going to stay too. I like them both, but the compact is incredibly comfortable. Let's see. Keith Gregory, SIG P238. I had only a SIG. Let's say that's the only SIG you've ever owned. That's a good gun. Texas teacher talking to 1776. I like my X carry, but nothing compares to a hammer-fired single-action 226. Nice. Yeah, Brian Wilson. I prefer modern striker systems, but who doesn't love a nice P226? Yeah, and I prefer the P229, but they are fantastic shooters. I've had a P226, and it was a great gun as well. They are great guns. Again, I would opt for the Legion. That's just me because I think their trigger is really spot on with that. That reset is so ridiculously short, and I just think they're amazing shooters. Range Randy, target grips on the 210 look very big. Maybe okay if you have really large hands. You know, it's funny. I think they appear to be bigger than they really are. When you get it in your hand, you kind of understand why they did what they did. And they're comfortable. There's no doubt. But again, the added expense for basically the grips, in my opinion, I don't think there are that many differences. There are a few subtle differences between the American 210 and the original 210, but I don't think there are that many. I haven't studied it very close, but again, I'm okay with the regular grips. Big Johnson, what's a Glock? Mark Linder, I'm actually more accurate with the P320 than the P226 or 229. No shame in that, man. Well, there's an advantage to the striker fired, right? It's the same trigger pull every single time. Now, if you get a single action, but like 226 or 229, it's the same trigger as well. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Jason Tirada, good to see you, man. Do you think Arya would be as good with a gun as she is with a sword? She would be even better, my friend. She would be even better. Little Game of Thrones trivia there for you guys. Non-tactical shooter. The most accurate gun I have in my collection is the SIG P6. It's a 225 from 1979. I bet that is an extraordinary firearm. I think it'd be fun to see that. That's cool. Kathleen saying she likes the grip on the SPO1. It's a great grip. Got the XPO1 out because of you tonight, music. They are great guns. There's no doubt about it. I kind of gravitate towards the PO1 a little bit more than the SPO1, but they do feel good in the hand. And you know you're holding a gun, man. They're a little bit hefty, and I like that. I mean, they're so easy to shoot. Joker 3421. Friends don't let friends buy Springfield XDS. That's funny. Tom Sullivan, good to see you, man. Lago, I can never pronounce this. Lago Arms or whatever it is, needs to come to America and make a G19 size gun that offered in steel and polymer frame. Then I would leave my G19s and G43s until Glocks all day, every day. Until then, all day Glocks and every day. Yeah, I would. Isn't that the Alien manufacturer? I think I saw a picture of that the other day. It still looks pretty cool, but aren't they only making like 300 of those or something like that, which I don't understand at all. Joshua Johnson, KS, when is Steyr going to get their marketing department working? That is a question for 1776 or bust, and it's a good question. I don't know. We've talked about that several times on the Three Guys chat on Wednesday nights. It's a good question. I wish they would do a better job because I think people need to know about it. Steyr makes a fantastic firearm. Dave Gass, good to see you, man. X Compact is staying. Oh, she's talking about mine. Yeah, it's Dave. It's a good gun, man. I don't know if you've tried it or not, but I'd be interested in your thoughts on it. Young Guns, good to see you. I don't know if you shot the one if a kind, M17X5. You might change your mind. The M17X5. That's yes. No, I remember now. Young Guns. Yes, I'm sure that's probably true. And it is one of a kind, even though you should go with the white grips. Just food for thought, man. Keenan, good to see you, Keenan. Sig 1911s aren't bad either. I'm assuming you mean aren't bad either. I think they make a good 1911 for the money. For around $1,000, they make a good 1911. Harry's Holsters, good to see you. Keith Gregory, CZ Shadow 2 for the win. That's always a win. It always is. Cajun Tigers, good to see you. Almost Tactical, CZ is Spanish for problem solver. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Big Johnson is saying, I really like my FNX 45, 16 rounds of 230 grain. I'm not going to say the rest of it. You know, that drives me nuts. But 9mm is so much easier to deal with. Yeah, that's absolutely true. I agree with that. Oh, 17 is saying nothing yet. They're supposed to be out in May, probably talking about the Steyr. They're having a tough time getting them in the country. Yeah, that's too bad. Hopefully they will be out soon. But I guess May's right around the corner. Ferrets with Guns, are you going to get your hands on the Rex Delta when available? It will be here tomorrow. I'm very excited about that. Yeah, so it is. It's almost here. That thing better be good. I've been excited to get my hands on that for a while now. So if it turns out to be a dud, I'm going to be upset. But you guys are going to hear about it. So I'm hoping it's good. I'm excited to play around with it. Uh-oh. Fu says the storm is getting crazy. It's actually calmed down here right now, thankfully. Jason Trotta, I don't know if you're still around, if the storm is hitting you right now. Kathleen is saying, right now I have the pistols I want. That is a statement we do not make very often around here, I will tell you. Harry's Holsters, Sig makes the best 1911s for the money. It's a bold claim, but I mean they do make great 1911s. I like the Emperor Scorpion. That is probably my favorite of theirs. Now, if they made that in the bobtail, kind of the commander size in a 9mm, I would be all over that. I wouldn't think twice about getting that gun because I love the Emperor Scorpion. I've had the 45, but I like the bobtail, and I really would like a 9mm of that. So maybe someday. Snowman, my Sig Max 1911 and 9mm is the best 1911 I've ever owned. Nice. Keith Gregory, Ruger SR 1911 is a great deal for the price. They are. There's no doubt about it. I've had a couple. I've had the CMD, I think it was, and then I've had the regular 1911, and they are good guns. So without question. I've never tried one of their 9mm though. I'd like to at some point. Joshua Johnson, other than their business model, there shouldn't be any reason why the Steyr A1S and the A2S shouldn't be the king of Austrian guns. Yeah, I mean, they are great guns. I don't think they have the pushing power, if you will, to get that much out there. I wish they would. I mean, they're great guns. All right, try to get caught up here, guys. Texas Teacher, the Spartan 2 looks pretty sweet. Nice. Scott, good to see you, Scott. KS, did you see the news about Hudson having over 80 customer guns that were disassembled and no money to return them? I'd heard whatever it was when the rumors were starting to come out that they were folding, or maybe it had just become official that they did have some people's guns back for repair. I hadn't really heard anything since then. I didn't have any numbers or anything like that. But the risk, of course, is that they may never get them back. And there is a campaign, if not a civil lawsuit, going on to get those back. And I admittedly, again, have not paid very close attention to it. But yeah, there are some people that are pretty upset, and I would be too. I mean, that's terrible when you don't know what the fate of your property is going to be. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye on that and see what happens. That's good intel. Keenan is talking about seeing the Doug Koenig, I think Koenig, I guess Koenig, 1911. I haven't seen it. Kevin Roberts, good to see you, man. Killa Coiler, 1776 for Buzz. So would I do better to spend the extra $90 and get a Shield 2.0 versus the PPS M2? Well, my opinion would be the Shield, but the PPS is a good gun, no doubt about it. Mountaineer, is there such a thing as a complete collection? No, sir. No, sir, there is not. Not in my opinion. To me, the collection is ever changing. Even if the numbers never swelled, whether it was 2 or 20 or 200 or whatever it is, just the rotation of it, I think that's part of the fun. I really do. And even when there are times where it's hard to separate from something, I got to be able to bring in the new stuff a little bit. Big Johnson is the bobtail like a mullet. Believe it or not, it is not like a mullet. Kevin Roberts, very close, Big Johnson. Jim Gregory. So, what is a complete collection? That's a fantastic question. I would say it's different for every single person, right? Because some people, they buy a gun because it's a tool, and they use it like a tool, and there's nothing wrong with that. Or maybe they buy it because it's a collection gun like this. The Archon to me is a bit of a collection gun, as is the SPO1 Shadow. They're collection guns because they're kind of fun. They're a little bit unique, and they're a lot of fun to shoot, that sort of thing. And they're kind of pride points. I mean, the 19X isn't terrifically special. You can go to the store and get these pretty much anywhere. So it's a little bit more of a tool. But everybody has kind of a different idea of what the collection is. And to some people, one and done is perfectly fine. Some people say I can never have too many. So that's part of the fascination with all this, I think, and having the different experiences and people liking different things. I mean, I think that's all part of the fun. REB, I have the full size 1911 Scorpion. Nice. Is that the regular Scorpion that's more of an FDE, or is it the Emperor Scorpion, which is a little bit more bronze with the black grip? I'd be curious about that. They're both fantastic. I think the regular Scorpion also has the kind of snake-like G10 grips on it. So I'd be curious. Yeah, Keenan, they have the Carry Emperor Scorpion, right? Yeah, I know that, but no 9mm. I think that's too bad. 9mm 1911s are really becoming a thing. I'm noticing them more and more manufacturers are just starting to kind of dip their toes into that. So I think it'd be cool if SIG did a little bit more. They have some 9mm 1911s, but their selection is a little bit skimpy compared to their 45s, and that's surprising to me. Scott is saying have to disagree with Harry. Dan Wesson for the win. It's a little bit more money typically with the Dan Wesson, but they make an extraordinary 1911. I have yet to shoot the Guardian and the Vigil. They're still sitting there waiting to be shot. That's how behind I am right now. So I'm really looking forward to shooting those. The Guardian especially. I cannot wait to shoot that dumb gun. So hopefully here pretty soon. Did I see Justin Opinion? Justin Opinion, good to see you. Why don't High Points take Glock mags? That's the question of the evening. It's something that we will all lose sleep over tonight, I think. Why don't they? I wish they would. I still wouldn't buy one, but I wish they would. Harry's been working on the CAD. Nice. Okay, so Ree is saying FDE with the Rail One, one of the first editions. Nice, that's very, very cool. And C Kim is saying Dan Wesson 9mm 1911. Amen, my friend. Amen. Steve, good to see you, Steve. Knuckles saying Beretta 92 compacts are so unnoticed. It's not compact at all. It's like a normal sized gun. Interesting. I had a compact Inox years ago, and I enjoyed that gun okay. But I actually almost prefer the regular 92. I'm not really sure why. There to me there isn't that much of a difference between the two. Which is Jasper. That makes me sad. What makes you sad? Bald and curious. Send them to me. I'll test them for you. Yeah, man. I'll send them right on. Joshua Johnson, what spring weight do you use for your MMPs? Whatever they put in it. That you guys know, I went ahead. You guys pressured me into this, by the way. This is gun peer pressure. I got the 3.6 to do the if I could only have one with the P320X compact. I'm glad you suggest it, by the way. It's a fantastic gun. But whatever spring weight comes in the gun. The only guns that I mess with spring weight on are Glocks, and only non-carry, non-home defense ones. I think the OEM spring weight on a 19 is, I think, 18 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll go down to 15 pounds or 14, whatever it is, whatever the next spring weight down. I don't have everything in front of me, so I can't remember off the top of my head. But I'll go one down for that. And maybe it's the firing pin spring, and that would be 5 pounds, 4 pounds, 4.5 pounds, all of those. So I'll play around with that stuff, but I won't mess with a carry gun with spring weight, especially the firing pin spring, because if you go down in poundage too much, especially when you drop to 4 pounds or lower, you could get light primer strikes. That becomes a real issue. So I don't really mess with that quite as much. So we need to pressure Justin Opinion to come on the chat. What do you guys think? I've been talking to him about that for a long time. Justin, we need to do this. This needs to happen. Stephen Worth, thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Keith Gregory asking Justin Opinion. See, you should be on the chat right now. What is your EDC? Joshua Johnson, the 15 pounds. No, so that's not the stock on a Glock 19. Is it 15 pounds? Is that the stock? Maybe it is. I can't remember off the top of my head. And that would be the recoil spring and guide rod. And I actually think it's 18 pounds. I sort of feel like it is. 15 pounds would be one reduced, if I'm not mistaken. And then 12 pounds would be the next one that's reduced. Mark Linder, do you like the M&P compact better than the Glock 19? No, I like them both almost equally. If I have the Apex trigger and the M&P, it's pretty tough to beat that gun. Those things are tack drivers. They're incredibly accurate, and with the Apex, it's just effortless to shoot and get the right sights on it, and you're pretty much good to go. But I'm a huge fan of Glock as well, so that would be tough. I'd probably go M&P as long as I can mod it out a little bit. If it's stock like this one's 100% bone stock. Trigger on this, actually, I think I lucked out. It's tremendously good. Shockingly, it's still hinge, which I can't stand. But it's good. It's unloaded, by the way. But again, I think stock, I'd probably go Glock, which rhymes, and I didn't mean for that to happen. But again, I could probably go with either one. Dave Gass. Oh, looking forward to the Colt. Nice. Whoever's getting a Colt, you've got my attention. Michael Demaria. Hopefully I said that right. How's the Arsenal Type B treating you? Has it become one of your favorites? Without question. I love that gun. It's a permanent gun, permanent resident in the collection. It's just awesome. Richard Lee, does the SIG X Compact have the etched outline for manual safety cutout? I feel like it does. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I kind of feel like there is a tiny little line back there where the thumb safety would be. Justin, not trying to troll you, brother. Just you are always welcome here. Are you kidding? Look how many people are excited to see you. You need to come on the chat. This needs to happen. I'm gonna pressure you into it, by the way. See, Kathleen, music lover, what no GP 100 Ruger 6-inch barrel pocket carry. No, that would be big pockets, big deep pockets. Scott P79. I'll stick with my P10C. It's a great gun, no doubt about it. Michelangelo, favorite stock weapon. That's an interesting question. I think about that from time to time. P10C is a good one. Scott brings that up, and I think that's great out of the box. I don't think there's much you need to do with it. You guys know though that I have to mod the back of the trigger safety just a little bit, and that's because of how I shoot. I wrap my fingers through. My fingers are long, so my fingers have to go through, which means I also hit the top of the trigger a little bit more, and then I kind of groove down as the trigger continues to go back. I get more leverage on it, so that means that I hit a little bit above where the safety lever starts to engage. And P10s, I have a real problem with those, so I have to sand a tiny bit off. If you consider that then not stock, I guess that wouldn't count, but I would, because you're not really changing any components or anything like that. So P10 is really good out of the box. I'm trying to think some other ones that have really impressed me quite a bit. You might have to give me a minute. Steyr is another one that impresses me quite a bit. I wish it had more grip texture. I know the A2s will, but those are great out of the box. Canex, that Elite Combat, the trigger out of the box, it's one of the better triggers I've ever experienced on a striker fire. And I'm going to say it. I know some people are not going to like that very much, but they have exquisite triggers for striker fired guns. I mean, they don't compare to a great 1911 or the SPO1 Shadow or something like that, but they are very good. So I encourage even the hater of the Canik to go try one of those triggers, just because I think it's worth your time. Mean Gene, do you still have the Staccato C? I'll buy it from you. I do not. It has left the building. Elvis has left the building. I still have the P. However, it has not been tested. It has not been shot yet, much to Big Johnson's chagrin. But not the C anymore. It is gone, my friend. Mark Linder, KS planning on a trip to Centerfire this weekend. Need to get with their LE guy and order the PO7. Just saying. So order a PO7. It'll be worth your time. I am going to try and be there during the STI thing. There's an STI thing going on Saturday. So if I'm around, holler. I'll be there for a little while anyways. And anybody else who's around, STI is going to be at Centerfire Shooting Sports this weekend. So a little shameless plug for my buddies over there. Knuckles Caracol is in the mail. Must be talking to 1776. Is he still here? I don't even know. Ooh, wheeled and well armed. Good to see, man. Browning High Power is perfect stock. I've never shot a high power. I've handled a couple. Centerfire had an old used one that was kind of sitting around for just a little while. I was incredibly surprised how light it was. I really thought it was going to have a little bit more heft to it. I was shocked about that. But I've never shot one. I hear good things. I hear they're incredibly accurate. I'd like to try one at some point. Catching up here a little bit. Guns, Guitars, and Gambling P320 out of the box. They're good guns. I mean, that X Compact has really, it's kind of won me over a little bit. It is a great gun. Foo Fop. I hope I'm saying that right. I apologize if I'm not. Sorry, but I'd never take a Glick over my SIGs or my VP9S. My SK is my go-to. VP9 SK is a fantastic gun. No doubt about that. Joshua Johnson, anyone ever test out a Bursa BP9CC? I have not. I've never shot a Bursa before. I would like to at some point in time. That's on the list. It's pretty far down, but it's on the list. Keith Gregory, Walther PPQ is a great stock trigger without question. It definitely does. And Fina is saying the Q5 is a great trigger as well. Yeah, they do. I wasn't as impressed with the steel frame, I'll be honest with you, but they're still good triggers. Non-tactical shooter. Before my X Compact, my favorite CC gun was the HKVP9 SK with the 13 round magazine. When I tested mine and did the videos, they didn't have the 13 rounder at the time. I would have liked to have tried it with that. That would have been very interesting. Karam 19, he came on the chat and be putting on a Talon grip at the same time. He's got a lot of talent. Jasper Quaid, so sad you need to lay off getting a new hotness so you can shoot some of the awesome pistols you have in waiting. I know, I know. It's kind of the nature of the deal. But some of the ones like the Dan Wessons and that sort of thing, they can wait. Now the Mossberg, I've been remiss about that. The Mossberg, it's been sitting in the safe for a month, and I haven't touched it either. Just because something else will come out that I think probably there's a little bit more interest, like the Shield 4.0, because it was kind of the shiny new thing for a moment. But I'll get back to some of those as fast as I can. I mean, I still need to do those Rock Island 10 millimeters. I mean, they're waiting as well. Very behind. Mateo, good to see you. Harry's holsters, high powers are amazing. Kiss. If you see another used one, let me know. I will indeed. I will indeed. 17 still here. Mark Linder, okay, I'll get with you on Facebook for what time you'll be at Centerfire. Okay, that sounds good. Instagram is usually better. I respond to that a little bit faster, but either one, just let me know. Two Wheel Man NC PPQ 22 all the way to PPQ 45 is fantastic. Only problem is that it does not come in 10 millimeter. Come on, Walter, join the 10 millimeter movement. It is a movement. There's no doubt about it. 10 millimeter is becoming a thing. Just an opinion. Roger Daltrey asked me to put a Talon grip on his mic. That's awesome. That thing is going nowhere. Big Johnson saying Browning high powers are nice pistols. I need to try one. I need to get on it. Bald and Curious Grand Power Excalibur has the best stock trigger period. I don't know. That's a bold claim. Best stock trigger of any gun ever? I don't know, man. I'd put the Shadow 2 up against that. I definitely would. Army Me. I have to assume that Walther and other German companies do not sell 10 millimeter well outside the U.S. You're probably right. That's an interesting assessment. Tom Sullivan, KS review the STI Staccato P. I almost bought one the other day, but still waiting to pick up the X-Star AEP9. Yeah, I'll get to it as fast as I can. Sneak preview, I like it better than the C. It feels a little better to me in the hand because it's got that it's got the double stack grip, so there's a little bit more going on, and I like the grip texture on it quite a bit. So, a little sneak peek for you. Oh, Bald and Curious, Excalibur Match and Match OC coming soon. I'll be interested to see those. I'd like to be able to get a hold of one. I have never seen an Excalibur anywhere, and I'm not sure. I maybe have seen one or two Grand Powers around since I've been into guns, but never an Excalibur around here. Corey, good to see you, man. Bill Connor, what do you think of the XD Mod 2 9mm? I did the subcompact very, very early on in the channel, and I enjoyed it. It was a good shooting gun. I like the grip zone, whether it says it or not. I don't really care. But I mean, it's a well built gun, and I actually like the sights on it as well. Knuckles, Nighthawk does amazing high powers, but super pricey. Yeah, you had me at Nighthawk. I'm sure they are pricey. Dwayne, STI Staccato thoughts. Well, I've got a video on the STI Staccato C. It's already out on the channel, and the P will be coming up at some point over the next 3 months, maybe. The C is a very good gun. It is a very good gun. In the right hands, it's a phenomenal gun. Honest Outlaw did a review. He did a review on my gun as well, and he loved it. He thought it was great. I mean, it's a fast shooting gun because that trigger is so light and that reset is so quick. It really is. It's a pleasure to shoot. I had a little bit of problem with the back of the gun, the ergonomics. There's some parts that are a little bit more sharp, in my opinion, that I found a little uncomfortable. But I was kind of trying to bear hug the thing when I shot it, and I shouldn't have done that. I should have lowered my grip a little bit more and tried to just sit lower with the gun, which I naturally don't want to do. I want to really try and ride as high as I can. That was, in hindsight, that was a mistake. It is what it is. And I think I mentioned that on the video. So we live and learn, right? But a lot of people have said they really enjoy the Staccato C. I'm really excited to try the P, and we'll see what happens. Richard Lee, you and Justin Opinion should do a shooting competition while doing reviews. He would win. He is a phenomenal shot. I'm not as good of a shot by any stretch. I'd like to shoot some steel with him, though. That'd be pretty fun. It's got to be that pink steel. You guys have some interesting questions or interesting conversations, rather, going on with each other. Justin Opinion, 11 millimeter is a thing. 429 DE might just have one in the works. Very interesting. I'd be curious to see that. Corey, watching the Aimpoint Acro review by Sage Dynamics as I watch this. Any plans in getting one for testing? Not at this point. I still haven't done any of the Holosuns yet. I mean, I've got 3 that I've been working with for a while now. So one thing at a time, one thing at a time. Mischievous Misanthrope. Have you seen the new FK Bruno polymer? I have not. No, I have not. You've got me curious, though. I didn't know that was a thing. Non-tactical shooter. How did Glock make a G45 MOS without touching the G19X? I don't know. I didn't know they made the 45 MOS, actually. But I still like the 19X. I think it's a great gun. Killer Coiler, the 10 millimeter never gained any real momentum on the global market because of being shelved after the inception of 40 cal. Now the 40 cal isn't popular. 10 millimeter is gaining renowned momentum. Interesting. Yeah, I would totally believe that. That makes perfect sense to me. Army Me, yes, please, on Holosuns. I can't find a 507 in a store or range to test myself. I got lucky. I found it on Palmetto State Armory, I think. So I would jump out there. They had some the other night. They might still have some, and it's relatively affordable. I mean, it was $300, maybe a little bit less than that. So, so far the testing has gone well. I've been very impressed. Keith Gregory saw Van Halen at Scope in Norfolk in 1990. I saw that same tour in Kansas City. It's a good show. Let's see. How many have seen the RSO from Trijicon? I have not seen that yet. I need to take a look at it. Okay, Mark Linder. They just came out the 45 MOS at the NRA show. Okay, good to know. Good to know. It's funny how they do that. They put out the regular model and then they put out the MOS. So everyone who's got the regular models, I got to have an MOS. But I like the MOS. I like that platform. Bald and Curious ask, your LGS to order you the XCal should be available at wholesalers rather. Global Ordnance has deals on some show models of GPs. Okay, I'll let them know. Dwayne, CZ P10S versus SIG P365 winner. I'd take the CZ. I would definitely take the CZ. The 365 is a good gun. It's small enough to where it can actually be a little bit of a chore to shoot. I think under certain circumstances. The cool thing about the 365, though, you can throw it in a pocket. I mean, that's pretty extraordinary. 10 rounds, pocketable gun. That's pretty cool. But I would take the P10S. Stephen Wirth, the new Trijicon SRO looks sweet. Yeah, you guys have me curious. I'll keep my eye out for it. Okay, C. Kim saying, seen it on a video, really pricey. I'd be curious to know. So you guys are talking a lot about bands. I want to change the chat to band chat at some point in time. That'd be pretty cool. Mateo saying hard pass on the SRO. Well, you guys have me curious. You guys are funny. You guys are talking my music, man. You're making me jealous here. Joshua Johnson, one-upsmanship with concerts. I have you all beat. I did all my own concerts. I was the one on stage. How about that? Playing in front of like 4 people, including my parents and the bartender. So take that. Justin, I've hijacked your gig, bro. I better go. Don't leave. Why leave? That's the fun of all of this. Scott P, I would take the P10S over the 365. Yeah, I would too. That's funny. Let's see. J Mike, I've seen the Holosun 507C on sale lately for $260. I jump on that. That's a good deal. That is a good deal. Got his at AIM surplus. So anybody looking for one, jump out there. SRO is going to be $509, Tom. Yeah, I don't know. I'd almost rather try the Trijicon Type 2. Mark Linder, I have a SIG Romeo 5 on both my ARs. Supposedly they are made by Holosun. I didn't know that. I just keep them on at all times. I like them so far, but I'm used to an aim point, M68, and ACOGs. Okay, interesting. Killer Coiler, Glock needs to make a 43X size 10 millimeter. I don't know. REB, did you ever do any studio work on the drums? Yeah, I spent a lot of time in the studio. Well, I guess we made 2 regular albums and a live album with the first band that I was in. So we spent a fair amount of time in the studio. I enjoyed it. That was fun. Oh, that's funny. Kevin, good to see you, man. Dwayne, Fort Scott ammo, best CCW ammo ever. I don't know. I think there are a lot of good brands of ammo. I enjoy Fort Scott munitions. First of all, they're great guys, but I think they make good ammo. There are a lot of other good ammos as well. I think HST tends to be the high volume winner on this channel. A lot of people carry that, which might tell you something. But I think, find the one that's right for you, that works well in your gun, has decent performance specs, and I think you're good to go. Filet mignon. I love that name. Was going to get the P10S, but now I can't carry at work. Might do the 365 instead. I should be able to completely hide it. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And you would definitely be able to hide that. No doubt about it. Mateo, I could see a 48 size 10 millimeter, but the 43X would be silly. And I'm not sure that would be a pleasure to shoot. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I've only shot the Glock 40 in 10 millimeter, so I don't know. But I would imagine that would not be terrifically fun to shoot. Army Me saying Lehigh Defense Extreme Penetrator. Okay. Yeah, Karam, I have not paid very much attention to what's come out of NRA. So I'll have to start digging in and looking around. Vanessa Kitty, good to see you. Corey picked up the Honey Badger ammo from Black Hills. Shoots great. Looks like Phillips head screwdriver a bit. Nice. Joshua Johnson, any comment on the NRA war between North and LaPierre? No, not really. NRA, I don't pay much attention to them anymore, to be honest with you. I really don't. I'd rather they just get back to working on protecting the Second Amendment and everything else just shutting up. Really, I don't know. It all goes back to that whole infighting thing, you know. REB question: how long will it be before Ruger PC carbine comes out in a 10 millimeter, since they now make a 40? I bet it won't be very long. I mean, I think Ruger's pretty smart about that sort of thing, so I imagine we'll see it. Vanessa Kitty: hiding weapons on you at places it is illegal to carry? Maybe. I'm not going to say yes or no, but maybe. Okay, Joker 3421. SROs, their competition optic. RMR is still marketed as hard use optic. That's what Trijicon reps were saying at NRA. That would make sense. Yeah. And I actually would. I'd like to try the RMR. I still haven't. I've never tried one before. Mateo, the plan is to do several calibers and then offer caliber conversion kits. Interesting. Okay. All right. Two-wheeled man NC would buy a Ruger PCC in 10 millimeter in a minute. Yeah, that actually would be pretty fun. I do kind of like that sort of tactical one they just came out with. I think that's kind of cool looking. It's a little odd, but I'm a little odd, so I think it looks pretty cool. Vanessa Kitty: military and school grounds here is a state and federal crime, not a bright thing to do. Yeah, if it's going to land you in jail, don't do it. But if it's just a little sign, not so much. Yeah, Daniel, my God is judge, or God is my judge. When it comes to CCW, don't ask, don't tell. Yeah, I get that. Bloody Soup: do you plan on trying the optics ready 4-inch shield, or no interest in it? To be honest with you, no interest. You know, I tried the 4-inch shield, and that was really more for reviews. I mean, I like my regular 2.0 shield. It does exactly what I needed to do. I've got the holster from Harry's. It just works. It works for me just fine. So the 4-inch was fun to experience. It didn't really impress me that much, and I thought the sights were crap. I couldn't stand the sights on it, and I got a little bit of hate for that in the comments. But I just am not a fan of 3 fibers sticking back at me, and so right off the bat, having to change the sights. Of course, we have to do it with Glocks as well, and I ding them too. But yeah, I probably won't do the optics one. I've kind of done my part, and I feel like it's time to move on. Richard Lee: best online retailer besides Palmetto for firearms? That's a good question. Everybody else is going to have to jump in on that. I really don't buy firearms online. I bought one from Grab a Gun the other day, and that was it. And that was the M&P 3.6. So that was kind of a first experience. It was a good one. It was here in a nanosecond. It was here, I don't know, the next full business day, which was pretty impressive. But that's my only experience. Justin Opinion, good to see you, man. We'll chat later. Killer Coiler, yeah, man, absolutely. And we will definitely see you tomorrow night. That's cool. That's cool. A lot of people saying thanks to Justin Opinion. You guys, we'll try and get him on the chat. We'll try and talk him into it, okay? That would be a lot of fun. He's a cool dude. So that would be a good time. Vanessa Kitty: best vehicle safes for handguns. I'm not necessarily a fan of a safe for a handgun in a vehicle, personally, but if you have to do it, I mean, I would probably do the under the seat one that can lock and attach to the seat. It all depends on what you're trying to keep it safe from. If you're going to lock your vehicle for a period of time and you want to make sure that it's locked up, that might be the way to go. My vehicle is really never outside of a garage, whether at work or at home, and not out in a regular parking lot long enough where I feel uncomfortable about it, especially in the areas that I'm in, generally speaking. So it's well out of sight, but not locked up per se. Walter Miner saying Kentucky guns and classic firearms. Okay, good suggestion. REB, you're wanting a Shield and 45 with ports and optic, and it's my fault. Okay, well, keep me posted if you get one. I'd be curious about it. Dwayne, MP 2.0, 3.6 inch Apex trigger kit, Dawson Precision Sights, best CCW ever. Change my mind. I'm sure there are some people that might have other thoughts to that, but I'm telling you, man, I'm a huge fan of the 4-inch. The 3.6, I think it's just as good. I've had a good time with it. The trigger is actually better than I thought it would be. The hinge sucks, but considering the hinge on it, it's a pretty good trigger. I mean, I think it's a good gun. And Steven is saying, great chat. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, guys, it is just about that time, believe it or not. You guys, as always, thank you so much for hanging out with me on Tuesday. That was a lot of fun. I think we hit 1:30 at one point in time, which is pretty awesome. So I appreciate that from each and every one of you guys. We'll be doing it again tomorrow night with Big Johnson in 1776, or a mix of the three, hopefully all three. I'm not sure where it's going to be. It might land here. I don't know yet. So keep an eye out for that. But either way, hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow. And then I'll see you next week. I think we'll do one next week, hopefully. And I'm going to try and have a guest on. Tried for tonight, didn't work, but we're going to try and have a guest, whether it be just an opinion or someone. We've talked about 32 Icon as well, and I have not forgotten that. She and I have spoken. And we're going to try and work that out. And then Tactical Pontoon is going to be on at some point as well. So we'll have some fun guests coming up. But you guys, again, stay safe, shoot straight, and have a great rest of your week. And we will definitely see you next week. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.